It's unclear whether former President Jacob Zuma will appeal his expulsion from the ANC, which he can do within 21 days. The party's National Disciplinary Committee resolved to expel Zuma after he was found guilty of prejudicing the integrity of the ANC, acting in collaboration with the uMkhonto weSizwe party. Zuma is the most senior member to be expelled from the ANC in its history, following that of the former Secretary-General Magashule in 2023. SABC News speaks to former ANC NEC member Tony Yengeni, who represented the former president at a virtual hearing. For more on this, let's cross to Natasha Piri. Natasha, thank you very much. It's over to you.
Thank you so much, Nompu, and of course, to our SABC viewers, you're quite right. We are joined by an ANC veteran and former ANC NEC member, Mr. Tony Yengeni. Mr. Yengeni, thank you so much for joining us on SABC News.
Thank you.
So you've heard the issue has been communicated to you by the NDC. The former ANC president has been found guilty of prejudicing the integrity of the ANC and acting in collaboration with uMkhonto weSizwe. First and foremost, when communicating this to the former president, has he indicated that he will appeal this very ruling?
Well, the last time I spoke to him was on Sunday at noon. And I reported to him about the process of the DC. And he was not too much perturbed about what he heard from me. He then said, look, let's wait until the verdict is announced officially, and then we'll talk after. So I will have to contact him, and we have an in-depth discussion about the outcome of the DC. And then he'll give me new instructions, and we'll take it from there.
I know that you've just said that you still have to contact him, but perhaps do you probably know if there are any grounds to actually appeal this? In a statement of uMkhonto weSizwe, they've labelled and they've likened this process, this NDC process, I beg your pardon, to a kangaroo court.
Well, there are so many grounds for an appeal. As a person who was in the process, observing the process, was listening to the process, I can tell you for free that what you have heard from the DC and what the record of the meeting is or says, because that meeting fortunately was recorded from beginning to end, is completely different. So you will realize that there are instances, many instances where what they say in their statement and in their interviews is simply not true. One of those is there was a pre-hearing during the process. There was no such pre-hearing. I pleaded for it. I never got it.
I don't want to preempt what you're going to, or what the former president's next steps are. But I mean, you've indicated that this process somewhat wasn't fair. Do you think that he'll be, contemplating to actually take the matter to the courts? Because you've just also said that in the documents it states that there was a pre-hearing, and according to you, there was no pre-hearing.
Yes, without doubt. If I go by his response to the outcomes of the DC, or even the purported leaked document, it's clear to me as I sit here with you that this is not the end of the road for him. He is determined to deal with this matter once and for all. And so I'm not, saying that he's going to ask me to appeal, but I'm sure that he's not going to take this thing lying down.
Mr. Yengeni, before we get to the process of the NDC, I mean, we spoke to analysts yesterday that actually reacted to his expulsion, and a lot of people have been asking that what was the former president's game plan in this issue? I mean, he's a tried and tested member of the ANC. Why would he do something that would deliberately get him expelled?
Well, I think that question is best posed to him. I would not be, an authority on what is happening in his mind. But you must remember that when he made the announcement, he said, I am ANC, I will die ANC. I'm doing what I'm doing because I want to correct the wrongs of the ANC. And so that, for me, was a very deadly admission. He's not playing games, as far as I'm concerned, about this whole thing. To him, this is it.
Just take us through the process of the NDC, what actually happened. The allegations that, and I asked the Secretary General this yesterday, that the allegations that you were intimidated by him, beg your pardon, what do you think the purpose of the text messages were? And just tell us your version of events. Yes, you've told us about the pre-hearing, but just delve deeper into what actually happened, especially for our viewers at home.
Well, one of the first things that I really objected to was them imposing days, times of the pre-hearing to me without consulting me. The first hearing I attended was on the 17th of July. And we agreed in that hearing that at some point, because I was new in the process, I needed to familiarize myself with the detail. We need a pre-hearing so that you can take care of all the logistical issues. And we agreed on that, and I even asked the chair in that meeting whether we should go back to him for new dates and new times. He says, no, you guys as presenters, you can talk to each other and agree and take the process forward. So lo and behold, that same evening, when I got home, I received an email from the DC to say the following day at 12, we're having a pre-hearing. So I woke up and I called them to say, but what's your problem? Do you think I'm sitting here at home waiting for you to tell me when to go to a meeting that you are calling? Why don't you consult me? I've made the example of a court of law. Presiding officers, when they have to postpone a hearing, they ask the representatives of the accused, is it Friday, is it Saturday, is it Monday, is it, Some representatives say, no, I'm not available, I'm doing another matter on Tuesday, so can you make it Wednesday? So there's that negotiation. If in a court of law, they impose themselves on me, and I didn't like that. I was not the accused, I was a representative of the accused. They needed to respect me and ask me, when are you available? Not to just say, come here or else, you see. That was one of the first things that made me think that this process is being conducted in a manner that is very disrespectful, not only to the church member, even to the representative of the church member. Now, secondly, there was the Mbalula text that I received on a Saturday evening. I was at home, and then this text says, what are you doing? Now, this is after I had appeared in the DC on Wednesday. Who do you think you are? You want to destroy the ANC. Under normal circumstances, I would have responded to that because I don't get intimidated easily.
And this is what you said to the NDC members?
Yes, I went to the NDC. Under normal circumstances, I would have responded to Mbalula. But I chose not to because I was part of this process. So I had to respect this process and not to do things that are going to hamper the process. So on Tuesday, the 23rd, when we reconvened, that's one of the first things I raised with them, to say the Secretary General of the ANC, Mbalula, is trying, I don't know what he's trying to intimidate me, whatever the case may be, but I didn't fall into that trap. I exercised a lot of control. But for him to do what he did, to me was outrageous. To send me texts in an ANC DC representing the church member, he sent me such texts, what are you doing? What am I supposed to do? If the former president asked me to represent him as a member of the ANC in good standing, that's part of the constitution of the ANC. If you're a church member, you've got the right in terms of that constitution to be represented by a member of the ANC in good standing. That's what I was. That's what I was doing. But it doesn't seem to him that that was a good move on my part. So he went on this rampage to undermine me. But between me and you, Mbalwa doesn't intimidate me. He can never intimidate me.
So, Mr. Yengeni, in your correspondence, when you relayed this message to the former president, what conversations did you have about the hearing? And, I mean, did he also raise the issue that he felt like this hearing was unfair, actually, to him?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the fact that they changed the venue of the conference of the hearing unilaterally without consulting the former president, from a physical meeting to a virtual meeting. He took it that they are interfering with his rights as a member of the ANC, having agreed that the meeting was unilaterally. They then changed it to a virtual meeting. When Balua wrote the letter to the DC to say that it's because of this reason and that reason, security reasons and so on and so forth, before the elections, maybe people would understand that. But long after the elections, what security issues are there to stop a physical meeting? Zuma wanted to meet them physically, look them in the eye and say, what is this? Let's debate it, let's discuss it as comrades, you see. But they denied him that opportunity. So I can go on and on. So his view is that this hearing was convened for optics, but the decision has been taken long ago that he must be expelled, come what may.
Okay. Mr. Yengeni, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for allowing us to actually hear your side of the story, specifically Mr. Zuma's side of the story, through you. It would be interesting to see if this matter will be appealed in 21 days or if this matter will actually be taken to the courts. Of course, that was ANC veteran Mr. Tony Yengeni giving us his side of the versions of the NDC. Remember that the NDC had actually expelled former President Jacob Zuma. So as SABC News, we also gave Mr. Yengeni the right of reply. With that said, Nomputs, back to you in studio.